Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 48th episode of Let's Talk About Market. Yesterday we saw the Nifty correcting from higher levels, and today we are seeing some profit booking. Many of the people might ask this question whether this trend is done. Are we headed for a deeper correction, or is this just a pullback? I think, on the face of it, it is looking like just a pullback. Now, what are the levels to watch out for? What are the things that I'll be watching out closely to see any signs of reversal? That is what we will discuss today. So, let me quickly share my screen and please let me know once you all are able to see my screen properly. Okay. Is my screen visible? Can you please put it in the chat? Let me also. Okay. Thanks, Deepak ji. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. So let's begin. See, for the Nifty index, if you remember, I had highlighted yesterday that there was some positive, there was some negative divergence that was visible over here. So after that, we saw that bump up, due to the rumors of India and US ties, strengthening and all those things. After that, we have seen some pullback in the Nifty index. So, even if you, attended yesterday's session, I was saying that 20R will be an important support. If that breaks, then 40R can come. And while that happens, you will see the RMI going back to the zero line. So RMI is almost back to the zero line. The ideal setup would be that it touches the lower band on the 40, and from there it turns around. Okay. That would honestly be the ideal setup. So in the very near term, we have this gap zone. This gap is, say, somewhere around 25,788. So this is the gap zone that I'm talking about, and the lower end of the range is at 25,750. Okay, and so far we have the 40R at 25,712, and the lower band is at 25,685. So basically, in the next 100 points from here, basically from somewhere around 25,800 to 25,700, that is like a very, very important support zone in the near term. And ideally, I would expect that somewhere in this zone, the Nifty index should take the support, and it should be rising higher. Okay, and see, there is another way of also finding the levels in case these levels break. So it's like, trying to find the lower end of where the support will be. Okay, so I've draw, so this is called as reverse channel. So where I've connected high to high, and from there I'm anticipating where the lower levels will be. But of course, as I mentioned, I think somewhere around this zone, we should see a turnaround. And also, if you see in terms of retracement, there would be some key levels that will be around this zone, that is 38.2%. And in elite way, we say that wave 4 are 38.2% correction. So I think somewhere around this zone is a good reversal level to watch out for. So let's see how it behaves. If you see bank nifty index, I think that is where a little bit softness is more evident today, because this seems to be underperforming the Nifty index today. And see over here, the 20R is clearly broken, and we have spoken about these kind of setups, right, where the lower band and the 40 are at the same point. Usually they act as a very good support, and in bank Nifty specifically, you can see that there is this gap zone plus the important support zone all coinciding around the same point. So that level for the bank nifty is 57,682. Okay, and the lower band is at uh, 57,657. Okay, so yes, so broadly around, you can say that 57,700 to 57,650 zone, that will be an important support for the bank nifty index. So over here also, I would be expecting the same thing, that somewhere over here it bottoms out and it tries to turn around from that. Now the good part is that if you see the sentiment indicators and extreme short term sentiment indicators, so swing and all have seen a drop. And when I last checked, it was around 41. Okay, now it has gone to 39 or so. So maybe the best setup would be that if it comes to around 20 zone or so, and the Nifty and the Bank Nifty index, they all come back to the 40. From there you can expect a good turnaround. So let's see how this play out. Now, as far as the medium term trend is concerned, I think there are no doubts about that. If you see the FI's positioning also, they have started to cover big time. Now in the past 2 to 3 days, we have seen a bit of a consolidation, but despite of that, there has been aggressive short covering that is visible. And as I had mentioned earlier as well, I would expect that they will eventually become net long, and maybe their net long reaches say somewhere around 40, 50, 60,000 contracts. That's where we might be a little bit concerned and think that whether this rally is overdone or no. But until then, I don't see any issue. And if you see, all those indicators are playing out on the expected lines. So you know a lot better confirmation will be when all this reading comes to the other extreme. I mean, right now you can see that they were all at the extremes. So clients are usually long when the markets are at a bottom, right? This is the pattern that we have seen earlier. And now, as the market is rising higher, they are booking out. And when they become net short, okay, that's where you can think that, somewhere over here a top can occur. So a combination of clients coming to the lower line, FIIs coming towards the upper line, and the DIIs also coming to the lower line. I mean, that will be the point that we need to be concerned. Otherwise, we are good and we should be steadily inching higher. Now, the other thing that is very important to note and understand is that what we are seeing today also is kind of a sector rotation. So we had spoken about this, right? Metal, it was consolidating, and today it is trying to break out. So we have seen some profit booking from the top, but broadly, wherever the setups are there, you need to stay put. That is the thing that you will have to keep in mind, because somewhere or the other, some sectors will pop up due to some reason and we would not know. So that's where, if the prices are in an uptrend, it's better to wait out till the time important levels are not breaking out. The other sector where I am seeing a good consolidation is actually PSE index, which is the public sector enterprise. Over here also, you see there is a good consolidation that has happened. So even this sector looks interesting in that sense. So as long as the averages are held, I would expect that this consolidation to eventually break out on the upside. So yeah, broadly we are seeing that trend only. Now the only question is that when do the small and the mid caps pick up? And again, my answer would be that while they have not participated so far, I would expect that eventually their participation to to come in, and the breadth may widen. But focus on the levels. As long as the levels are not broken, I mean, over here, if it breaks out, it retests and then again rise higher. So this is a perfect setup that we might have. It's only when, say, the trend line that was broken on the upside, it gets inside that, and the averages break, and then we have those crossovers. Those are the point where I'll be a little more concerned. Otherwise, we are okay. I mean, it is just that I feel that the market is testing patience, and eventually, I think if the levels are not broken, or if the setups are okay, sooner or later, those setups will be rewarded. So yeah, focus on the broader trend. I think the broader trend is up. Now, if someone would ask me at what point will you be concerned, I think the point of concern will be when the averages on the downs breaks on the downside, because that might end up, negating this breakout as well. So otherwise, if at all the Nifty goes higher, it comes back towards this zone. and then rises higher, this is a perfectly normal technical setup that is there. Okay, so that is something that please keep in mind. This is what I was emphasizing yesterday as well, that until we don't have a setup where RMI goes back to the zero line and from there it gives a bearish crossover, it's better not to take fresh position. And in fact, if you are holding, either 20R or the 40 will be your reversal level, depending on what's your time horizon. But yeah, broadly I think that view is very much intact. All we now need to be patient is to wait for the RMI to turn around and give us the next crossover. And when that next crossover happens, ideally we should be not trading below these important levels. So if all those levels are intact, then I think the next leg of up move that we saw somewhere over here, right, uh, where we I mean the RMI went back to the zero line and we saw this move. Okay, this move. So I think that is what can happen. It can correct over here and then we can get the next leg of up move. So that is what the expectation will be at this point of time. And let's see how things play out. Okay. The thing that you need to watch out for, or you should be doing at this point of time, is trying to find where the setups are good. Okay. So just today I was seeing I could not find honestly much good setups, but I think one of the scans where I was looking, because I think that the small and the mid caps have not done that well, they should eventually make a comeback. That's where I saw Amber. Amber had that perfect kind of setup, which we look out for, right? Up move, consolidation, and now it is trying to break out. I mean, so far it has not broken out, but it is trying to break out. But you can see over here, right, the RMI gone back to the zero line and now trying to turn around. So these are the kind of setups, you try to focus more on these setups, because that's where up move has happened, enough consolidation has happened. So try to find such setups. I mean, I was trying to do that, I didn't get much. I think this was the only one setup which was kind of interesting. Other than that, maybe if you are positional, look out for what is happening on the weekly chart as well. Even on weekly, I did not find that good setups. Frankly, I mean, I did not scan through every of the all of the stocks, but few stocks where I saw, I mean, these are okay kind of setup, nothing that caught my eye. I think over here, as I'm scanning, BSC looks decent, because it has come up the averages as well. Uh, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, we'll have to do a little bit of deep diving over here. HDFC Bank also in that sense is good. Uh, and mainly, as I'm scanning, I can see that many banks are popping up in this list. So, do have a look through, these setups. I'm sure you will find some interesting ones that will fit your risk reward bill as well. And more importantly, at this point of time, you need not necessarily go ahead and aggressively buy if the setups are not warranted, but at least keep them in your watch list and keep them on your radar to see how things unfold in this, and whether you get an opportunity at some point to enter. Okay, but there are many interesting setups that are surely visible. In fact, you can also those guys who don't know, we have also tried to put in the indices Nifty mid cap 100, Nifty small cap 100 as well. So you can simply go over here, Nifty small cap, so mid cap 100. If you do, you will be able to see all the 100 stocks over here. Now see, this was one of the reason why we wanted to restrict it to 50, because it becomes very messy. But yeah, I mean, you can try to find the setups, like I'm seeing over here. Many of the PSU banks on the daily RRG, okay, they are trying to turn around, right? Union Bank, Maharashtra Bank, Bank of India. So you can try and identify some of those stocks over here as well. in this RRG. It might be a little messy, but have a look at this. So mid cap 100, even small cap 100 is there, small cap 50 is there. So all the indices which are within the 100 stocks, we have tried to put over here. So do check them, and I think you will be able to get some good setups. But as I told you, things that are turning around from weakening, those are relatively stronger ones, because the ones which are on the right hand side of the 100, it means they are already outperforming. Okay. So things like, say, Hindustan Zinc, Hind Petro and all, you don't need to concentrate on these at this point of time, because they are continuously losing momentum as well as relative strength. But places where there is a turnaround in momentum, that will eventually trigger a turnaround in RSI, I mean relative strength as well. So try to focus more on such setups. Okay. So broadly, I think that is it for the discussion. So as I mentioned, wait patiently for things to turn around, or let it come to a point where risk reward is in your favor, and then watch out for interesting setups. So I think small and the mid caps especially are the ones which have not participated, and that's where my hope lies, that eventually they should see a catch up, right? So in specific, small cap is the one which is still probably around 5-7% away from its all-time high. While Nifty is just probably 1.5% away. So I think that is where some of the opportunity lies. So let's see how things play out. It will only be concerning, as I mentioned, that if the small cap goes below this breakout point, and in fact ends up breaking this averages as well, that's where I'll be very concerned. Otherwise, I think it will be I think if you all look for a bullish setup in the small cap stocks, that should be rewarding as and when the market starts picking up. Okay. So so that's it from my side. If you'll have any questions, let's take it up. uh, uh, so Abhijit says, for fundamentals with setup, Abhijit, can you mention what exactly do you mean? I mean, can you elaborate it? I did not understand your question. Is there a way we can gauge overall result across NSE, BSE to get an idea of earnings growth? No, Deepak, at this point of time, we have not developed that. It, I mean, we wanted to do that, but because of some challenges, we have to, you know, you can say that delay that thing a bit. But as of now, see, one of the ways that you can also see is that you simply go to Nifty 500. Okay, over there we basically have this EPS chart, right, which NSC publishes every day. So this, if you see the EPS, basically, you can see over here that it is more or less a flat line, and there is minor pickup that you see over here. But yeah, that is what you will be able to see, because this NSE itself tries to calculate as and when the result starts coming for those stocks. So I think I was seeing it for Nifty 50. It has gone up. Let me just check it. But when I was seeing it for the last time, so yeah, you can see over here there was some decline, and now again a pullback. But more or less, if you see, the EPS is stuck around this 1135, 1138 zone. So yeah, but I think this is one of the way that you will be able to gauge it, Deepak. But we don't have that dashboard as such yet, where you will be able to see how the health, or how the companies are reporting. I would like to take a stock which are fundamentally strong and hold for long term, for which what to do. So I assume that if you're seeing fundamentally strong, see, at this point of time, I'll show you the way that you can do. uh, so you can go for the scanners. Okay. And look out for the places where there is a, uh, crossover on the monthly charts. Okay, and then you try to do the reverse math. Now see, I'll show you one way. So say I have taken Nifty 500. Okay, now over here I'm trying to find the stocks with new buy. Okay, so here I get Adani Power. Okay, Adani Power, Bank of India. Okay, Canfin Home, GPIL, then Hindalco, Hind Copper. So, see, from this, I understand that okay, these are all the stocks that are giving me new buy. Now, say for example, LTI Mindtree. I think this setup is interesting. That is because it had come into the buy list, few days back also when there was this crossover and it was holding out pretty well. In fact, this when we were in the mentorship sessions in the Goa, that's where this stock had popped up in the list. uh, so now see, I think that this is interesting. So then what you have to do is that you have to do the reverse math over here. Once you have found out which are the stocks that are turning around, you just go and see how are the fundamentals shaping up, how are the valuations that are shaping up, right? So you can go over here. In this, the recommended parameter is market cap to sales and P. So over here, now I can see that market cap to sales wise, it is towards, I mean, it is below the average. Now I can also do how is it behaving based on the PE. So even in PE terms, if you see, it is at 33 PE, and by its own historical average, it is below the median line. So you might then want to consider whether this fits your bill or no. But the broader point is that you might have to do the reverse of this. Try to find the stocks, as I mentioned, based on the scanner. You can also try and do Dow theory as well. That might work well for you. So Dow trend may look out for the stocks. So I'm selecting Nifty 500 as the basket because you want quality stocks. So over here, do which are the ones that are going from down to up. Okay, so you can see that Adani. Adani Energy, I guess this is Adani Energy, then Axis Bank, then Amara Raja. So Amara Raja battery also, if you see, has been a laggard, right? So over here also, it seems like it is trying to break above the previous high. So that way, you can find, now there are 29 stocks that have come in the list. Now one stock that is also very interesting is say ONGC, right? It has been a laggard for a very very long time. It is now trying to turn around. Then you have IEX, which is again, which has broken down significantly and now trying to turn around. So that way you can do those reverse math, try to find out the stocks on the monthly time frame. Where are, I mean, which are the ones that are giving you those turnarounds. I'm just trying to give you ways to find out. You can also find out, say, through technical scanners, that which are the stocks that are breaking above, say, the simple moving average, which is say above 20. Sorry, crossing above. Okay, so over here you can see that the prior was, closing was below. Now it is trying to turn around. Now you can see over here, this Adani Energy, it is coming into down to up as well. uh, and now it is trying to cross above the 20-month average also. So you can do all those kind of scans, but make sure that you do it on the higher time frames. Okay, like monthly or so that you understand like which are the stocks that are turning around from a weekly or a monthly perspective, and then try to find it, how are the fundamentals of that. So I hope this can help you in identifying the stocks. With the current Nifty setup, like Nifty holding all the averages, if it reverses from zero line, do we need to wait for the RMI hourly bullish, or if it is turning from zero? So, Mahesh, as I had mentioned earlier as well, so over here, that's where position sizing and all will come into play. Where if it turns around from 40, after touching 40, maybe you would want to, uh, maybe you would want to build some position if this important support zone is held. And after that, you might want to add more when there is a RMI setup, and then there is this channel breakout on the lower chart. So uh, so over here, the only thing that I would recommend is that it all depends on what your risk appetite is. If you want to be safe, wait for the RMI turnaround to happen. That's where you can say with some degree of safety that the setup should work out. Over here, if the Nifty goes and turns around and you build position over here, then you are taking a lot more risk that you have to be mindful of. The balanced way is to take some and add as your conviction builds. I think I have spoken about this many times, but again, I don't want to get into the specifics of that because there are different ways of execution. We look at A-late wave more closely. So even for the mentorship guys, we teach to execute it in a certain way that is based on A-late wave. So I don't want to get over there because it becomes very subjective, and it totally depends on the risk appetite which people may have. But I've given you the broader sense, right? You have to wait for the turnaround to happen. Now, whether you want to enter over here or enter at a slightly more when you get the confirmation, I mean, it entirely depends on your risk appetite. But the best way would be to add some and then add as your conviction builds. That way, you will be with the trend, and you might not bet very big when things are not in your favor. So that's the best way to look at it, I would feel. Explain diffusion indicator usage. So NCTG, can you please mention which diffusion indicators are you specifically talking about? Because to explain entire, it is very difficult. Uh, you can if you can specify which ones you want to see and what exactly uh, do you want to understand, then it will be helpful. I can be more specific in the explanation. So I'll give you some time. Please put that. I mean, be a little bit more specific with your question so that it becomes easy for me. Is it necessary that all time green? So Abhijit, the question is, I mean, the answer to that is that if you try to catch the stocks that are turning around, those are the ones where the reversals are happening. So you're not trying to bottom fish it. Okay. So that's where you have the if you have the valuation set up in your favor, and you see that the prices are also giving that breakout or bullish crossover and so on. So that's where you would know that things are turning around, right? So things are turning around, that means the move will be lot more quicker in that sense. I think so there is a follow-up question from you. In fundamentals, as discussed, all time frames should be green. No, not necessary, Abhijit. The thing that I'm trying to say is that try to find the reversals which are happening on the monthly chart, because your view is long term. Look out for the charts where the monthly reversals are happening, and try to identify whether that fits your bill or no. I mean, in terms of taking the risk and all those things. So all I'm trying to do is that do the reverse math over here, because right now we don't have the fundamental scanners. So what you can do is that try to find where on the monthly chart the reversals are happening. Okay. Once you find out where the reversals are happening, go and check the fundamentals and go and check how the valuation for those particular stocks or sectors is. And that's where you can then make your decision. It will probably make your life a lot more easy rather than checking valuations of each of the stock. So I hope it clarifies your doubt, Abhijit. Abhishek ji, good morning. View on reality sector. I think it seems to be turning around from a meaningful consolidation. So let me take over here. And even if you see, the RRG is also supportive in that sense, so it's a good setup. So you can see over here, reality, it has been in this congestion zone for a long time, and now it is trying to turn around, so it's a good thing. The only final thing that I would want to watch is that if it crosses the 61.8% retracement of this entire decline, okay, that will like help us be a lot more firm in the view that maybe the correction is complete and now it is headed higher. So I mean, the breakout part is done now. It might consolidate or something like that, but watch out that none of the key levels break on the upside, and the eventual confirmation will be with the 61.8% retracement. But over here also, in the weekly chart, you see that the averages are broken on the upside and there is a bullish crossover. So if not anything, the expectation will at least be that it will go towards the upper band, and over there we'll analyze what is happening. So near term it looks good. Even if you see it on RRG, since past few weeks it was seeing a turnaround, right? So let me show you. So this is on the on the daily RRG, it has already moved in the leading quadrant, but the weekly setup is very interesting. It had seen a massive underperformance, and that had lead to a very big tail in Nifty reality. So wait, let me also remove. Yeah, so you can see over here what is happening is that the momentum has already started to turn around, and now a bit of a relative strength is also what we are able to see now. Okay, so my expectation would be that this will eventually move towards the improving quadrant, and how it behaves in the improving quadrant is something which will be very, very important to watch out for. Because see, what happened in FMCG was that it went to the improving quadrant, okay, but from there it turned around, okay, and from there it has been underperforming the market. So watch out for what reality does once it goes to the improving quadrant, whether it is going towards the north side, and strongly basically, to be more specific, towards the northeast side, that would indicate that there is a strong momentum as well as a relative strength. So yeah, watch out for this sector. As of now it looks good, even on the chart it looks good, but one thing is that watch out for what it does at 61.8% retracement, and how it behaves on RRG. As of now on daily it is in leading, so that is a good sign. And even on weekly, it is the momentum and the relative strength is improving, so overall uh, it's good. uh, where the RMI is high, like yesterday we saw it. So NCT, I think I had mentioned this yesterday as well. When you see diffusion indicator, you are specifically seeing on indices, right? So over here in Nifty 50, if you see, the reading touched 90, and from there we are seeing some cool off. But historically also, if you see, you always have to see in terms of price action and indicator, right? So if you see over here, the the good breath peaked out over here. Okay, after that in this up move, the breath was continuously going down, and that is what was visible over here. So in this up move, especially in the large cap, we have seen this good move within the large cap stocks. Now probably this will be a lot more selective. Now the way to the way to look at diffusion indicator would be that over here, if you are extremely long and if you have a short term time horizon, then you might want to be a little more proactive in trying to book some things. But at the same time, if you see for small cap and the mid caps, the ratio is still at 53. So over here there is still a lot of room that is left on the upside to catch up, right? So you have to see it index by index, and if you have a medium term view, then look at 50 and 100. If you have a long term view, look at 200. Okay, and 200, like you see, even in the past, if you just scroll out, you will see that it can remain at higher levels for a long time. Okay, in the real action is when it comes towards the oversold zone. That is where that is the point where you have to be a lot more aggressive in your buying terms. Okay, but over here we have passed that point, and now it's more of, I mean, you have to look at the diffusion indicator more as a risk management. And if the percentage of stock about 20 SMA drops to somewhere over here, maybe you would want to see if there are short term opportunities that are emerging or no. I think that is how I would look at diffusion indicators broadly. But if it rises higher, it does not necessarily mean a sell until the price does not give this trend reversal. But this would certainly mean that the breadth will narrow. Say, for example, if uh, 45 stocks were rising and they were trading above the 20-day average, as the up move progresses, there is a possibility that from 45 it will go down to 40 to 35 and so on. And as the up move matures, the breadth will keep getting narrower. So that is how you need to see diffusion indicators. So again, if you would have invested over year, for example, or somewhere over year, so you might want to book some position when you are reaching towards that extreme, or don't be in that FOMO, because we have reached to a point where some bit of pullback or some bit of narrowing of breadth can happen. So in such phases, it is recommended to stick to the outperformers. Okay, and don't try to be brave of catching the underperformers, because it can be a risky strategy. It can work out, but the risk is relatively higher. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So Abhijit, I think you can please have a look. I have already mentioned it many times in the valuation setup and everything. So because we are seeing this RMI bullish in the stocks, so it is natural that uh, in the valuation setup, the RMI will be bullish, because that's how we got through the scanner, right? So then you will just need to check how the valuation is and whether it is palatable to you and whether it is worth taking risk or not. So yeah, you can please have a look to that. Deepak, can we look at IT sector from a long-term perspective, especially small mid-cap uh, AI stocks like Happiest Mindtree Latent View? Uh, so Deepak, my answer would be the same. Look out for the setups. Okay, if you think that, say, Happiest Mind, now you have pointed out Happiest Mind, right? So go over there and see if the chart patterns are good or no. Okay, or are they turning around or no? And that's where I think the answer would lie, because see, no one knows what is the fate of AI and how I mean, basically we are going to see the moves unfold over there. So the best way, shit, again, I don't know why it happens almost around at 11:40. Wait, web dot strike, and for some reason it works on Google Chrome, but not over here. Hmm, yeah. So happiest mind, you will have to go by these things. Now see, over here you are not even seeing a reversal on the daily chart. Now see, if you want to be brave, you can go ahead and you can take those decisions. But as of now, if you see, there are no signs of reversal as yet in happiest mind so far. Okay, so then you might want to see how the fundamentals are. Is it very cheap or not, and all those things. But my primary advice to you would be that look out for the places where some bit of trend is still established. Okay, so that you don't have to wait for a long period of time. But like you see for happiest mind, right? I mean, the P has gone down significantly, but now you have to try and gauge if the 40p is still good, because I need to then see how the results are going to be. are playing out, right? If I'm not able to see growth, then 40 Ps is also very high. Then I need to have that high conviction that their earnings will turn around and so on. Frankly, I don't have that ability to forecast and all those things. So I would simply rely on chart and see if the reversals are happening or no. If the reversals are happening, I would be happy to get into that stock. If the reversals are not happening, I would give it a pass. I mean, that is how I would look at it, Deepak. So, I think the best way is to look at the charts individually and see where the setups are. Like, say, for example, LTI Mindtree, we just saw it in the scanner, right? This is not an AI stock. I don't know whether if they are doing AI or no, but all I know that the chart setup is relatively good. After an up move, there has been a consolidation, and now it is trying to break out on the upside. So these kind of stock would really interest me. Now over here, you would ask me that when might be a good point to check into this stock, because for this up move, we are possibly in that late stage. So the next better opportunity will be when it goes back to the zero line, and from there it turns around. And in such cases, if something like this happen, that's where the setup will become very interesting. Till then, maybe wait patiently or try to find if there are any other setups that are available or no. So that is how I would look at it. So I think with that, we the time is 11:41 right now. So I think, and I can't see any further question. So let's wind it up for today, and let's catch up on Monday. Okay. So as I mentioned, the Nifty is probably in this minor corrective mode, and I think that Nifty has a very important support at 25,800 to 25,700 zone. I think over there we should be able to see some turnaround from those levels. So it's a weekend now. Go through the Strike platform. Try to do the scans and try to find some good setups over there. By the way, tomorrow we are doing a webinar on insider trading. So that will help you how to find the stocks from a medium to long term perspective. So if you all have not registered, you can go on the Strike channel on Twitter, and you should be able to see this post. So over here, register yourself for this webinar, and you will be and you can attend this session. So over there, we'll talk about the insider trading and how to find stocks, and what to make out of the patterns of what promoter do. So do join us tomorrow for that webinar. Okay. I'm sure you will find it very helpful, and since it's on Zoom, we can interact as well. So apart from insider trading, if you all have any other questions, I can address it. If you are all already aware of insider trading by going through the previous webinars, you can simply come at 11 o'clock for the Q&A sessions, because normally 45 minutes to 1 hour is what I'll present. After that, we'll have a detailed Q&A session, so we can catch up over there, and I can try and clarify your doubts as well. So let's catch up tomorrow for the webinar, and on Monday we will meet for this live session of Let's Talk About Market. Okay. So until then, have a good weekend, and see you all on Monday. Thank you.